All right, we're getting ready to start the show this morning in just about 30 seconds. Yeah. Hey, y'all, are you getting swallowed up by each day? Or are you measuring your moments so that you can master your minutes? How can you live a full day without getting pulled into a sea of distraction and bogged down by unnecessary details? Well, you gotta master your minutes. Welcome to the Monday Mindset Movement. Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Robert Kennedy III, RK3. That's me, the Monday Mindset Movement. 15 to 30 minutes of motivation, elevation, inspiration, designed to get you thinking, blinking, and rocking and rolling through your week. Thank you all for showing up today on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, and even on Twitch. This morning, I'm so glad that you're here. Wow. Austin, KMVF, so glad that you're here. Lachelle Adkins, so glad that you're here. Michelle, so glad that you're here. Johnson, so glad that you're here. Bennett, so glad that you're here this morning. Wow, all of my people are here. So glad that y'all are here this morning. Yes, we are going to get rocking and rolling this morning, and I am excited to see you. We're going to be talking about time today. We're going to be talking about time. Let's do it. All right, let's start moving.
It's time to get motivated, elevated, and accelerated. It's your time to jump out of your comfort zone and reach higher. It's time to get up and go. Grab your cup of grit and your daily dose of resilience. It's time for the Monday Mindset Movement with your host, Robert Kennedy III, RK3. It's time.
Yes, we are here. I'm so glad to see y'all. Oh, yeah. Lachelle Adkins, great Monday to you. America's Supermom. Ooh, okay, I like it. America's Supermom. We got a Supermom on. The rest of you that are on, do me a favor. It looks like we're having trouble with our LinkedIn feed this morning, but we're going to press forward. We're going to rock and roll. We're going to do this move. Hey, listen, I would love to welcome you to the show. If you want to know when we're going live, make sure that you text live, L-I-V-E, to 240-557-8679. Text to live, not too live. Text live to 240-557-8679, and you will know when we are going live. Hey, just give me a what's up in the comments. Let me know that you're hanging out with us this morning. Oh, yes. Yes, so good to see you. Hey, Mary. Yeah. Hey, Erica. How you doing this morning? Hey, Chad Chevalier. What's up, buddy? Good to see you this morning. All right. Wow. Lachelle Adkins met me on Clubhouse. Good deal. Love it. Fantastic. All right. Well, listen, this morning we are going to rock and roll and jump in. We're talking about time today. We're talking about time today. This weekend, I had a phenomenal weekend. I went to a conference called Thrive, and that is for the National Speakers Association, my peers. And I had the blessing, the privilege, the honor of speaking this weekend to my peers. And that was a situation in and of itself. It's an experience in and of itself. I was able to do that, and it was just this phenomenal, fantastic, great, excellent experience. And I don't even know what to say about it. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was a brilliant weekend. Now, one of the things that happened this weekend was there was this question or this topic that kept coming up over the entire weekend. It was a topic that kept coming up the entire weekend. And that topic was, how do I decide what to do with all this information that I'm getting? How do I decide what to do with all of this information that I keep getting? I don't know about you, but if you've ever been to a conference especially a conference where it's not just hype and inspiration. It's a conference where there are tactical things. How do you decide what to do with all of this information? Right? There are quite a few people saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm new in the industry. I'm new in the business. This is my first time. What do I do first?" In order to reach success, how do I know what to implement first? Yeah. And life is super busy already, right? Life is so busy. How do you manage your time? Do me a favor, share with me in the comments. How do you manage your time? Hey, VJ, good to see you. So glad that you're here. Roops, good to see you this morning. Rupesh, I'm sorry, I said Roops. Rupesh, how you doing this morning? Good to see you. 868 Oasis, so glad that you're here. David Hunt, what's happening this morning? Kirk Nugent, my dude, what's happening? So glad that you're here this morning. What do you do to manage your time? How do you manage your time? What are the things that you're doing to make sure that your moments are measured and your minutes are mastered? What are you doing? So back in the day when I was looking more into the time management techniques and technologies, or whatever you want to say about it, there was this book called GTD, or Getting Things Done, by David Allen. And he was like the guru of time management at the time. David Allen, GTD. If you were looking into your productivity and looking to get yourself managed, right, from a time perspective, David Allen was the guru in that regard, right? If there was a software, people came out with how to use David Allen GTD with Evernote and all sorts of things. Pomodoro techniques. How do you implement the Pomodoro technique, right? The Pomodoro technique, for those of you who don't know, you can look it up, is this technique where you block 25-minute sprints and you work in 25-minute sprints, right? So that's another technique for managing time. Y'all let me know in the comments, how do you manage your time? One of the things that I do, there's this timer that I've got on my desk. I don't know, right? I like it. It's pretty cool. And I like it because it's got these numbers on the different parts of it, right? And wherever I place it, that's the automatic time that is going to be counted down. And I like it because I don't have to set my timer. I just I put it down and it counts me down for whatever time is set for that, right? I like it because it's a constant reminder of these sprints that I'm doing. As a matter of fact, last time I showed this timer, some people are like, "Ooh, sexy. I want that timer." Do me a favor. If you want this timer, if you want this actual timer, I can show you where to get it on Amazon. If you want this timer, text timer to 240-557-8679. Text timer to 240-557-8679. I'll say it one more time for those people that are trying to get this down. Text timer to 240-557-8679, and I'll send you the link. Yes, it's an Amazon affiliate link, but it's not going to be something that you will regret. You will not regret this purchase, all right? Text timer to 240-557-8679. All right, good deal. So I use this timer to do these sprints that help me manage my day. And periodically, I evaluate my time. Recently, I did that, and I realized that I was doing a lot of technical things in my business. I was figuring out software. I was figuring out AI, preparing for conferences. Oh, yeah, right? Preparing for conferences, preparing to speak, dealing with AI, dealing with social media. And these aren't bad by themselves. But I had to ask myself, are these the greatest and best use of my genius? Some of you might feel like that's an arrogant question. Well, no, it's not. Go back a couple of weeks and review the unicorn episode that we did for Monday Mindset. Each of us has a unicorn in us, and the more time that we spend outside of our genius zone is the more that we become like everyone and everything else. So I had to ask myself this question. I had to ask myself, am I operating inside of my genius self? And as I did that, I had to go back to the matrix, right? Not that matrix, right? So some years ago, I came across this methodology called the Eisenhower matrix. All right, let me share that with you. And here's how the Eisenhower matrix works. The Eisenhower matrix says that there are 4 quadrants, okay? And if you look at the x-axis on this, what's going up and down, you'll see that you've got not important and important. For those of you that are on Instagram, we don't have this formatted for you, but I'll call it out. So the green area is urgent and important. Okay, so the x-axis is not important and important. The y-axis is urgent and not urgent. So that green box represents something that is urgent and important. The blue box represents what's important but not urgent. Okay, the yellow box represents what's not important but urgent. And then that red box represents what's not important, not urgent. Yeah, I see you, Ramon. Ramon Ray says prioritizing is not so easy. Yeah, it's not. I get it. I get it. So when you talk about not important, not urgent, are we doing these things? Are we spending a lot of our time on things that are not important and not urgent? How are we spending our time? A lot of times, a lot of us create a to-do list and we just add stuff to the to-do list, right? I'm getting my words mixed up. Let me slow down a little bit. Okay. A lot of us create to-do lists and we just go down the list. And we evaluate, as you evaluate this, ask yourself, am I doing things that are not important, not urgent? If you look at the yellow, am I doing things that are urgent? Ooh, putting out a fire, but not important. Where are you spending your time? So as I dig deeper into this matrix called the Eisenhower matrix, let's look at some actions for each of these areas. So if you think about what is not important and not urgent, what's inside of that area that is red, these are the things that you delete. These are the things that you delete. These are the things that you don't spend your time on. If you look at what's in the not important but urgent quadrant, you don't necessarily need to do these things. If you're always in putting out fire mode, if you're always in extinguisher mode, they're not important, but these are urgent tasks that don't necessarily require personal attention. Can you delegate this? Can somebody else do this? And then if you look at the important but not urgent, okay, yep, this is important, but I don't have to do it right this moment. Can I schedule that? And then if I look at the important and urgent, oh, yeah, this is something that I've got to do right now. All right, so I want you to begin thinking about your tasks in this regard. Instead of just a blanket list of, yep, these are all the things that I've got to do, how do you best master your minutes? How do you best put things together in a way that leverages your time best? So as I dive a little bit deeper into this Eisenhower matrix, how do I know that I'm spending my time well? Well, it's suggested that if you are in the important but not urgent time, more often than not, you're doing pretty well with your time. Right? If you are in the not important, not urgent time, if you're in that lower right quadrant, then We got some stuff to talk about. But if you are in the important, dealing with what's important, but scheduling yourself in such a way that you can deal with it at the appropriate time. And I know that's not always possible. So that's why this is not a yes, you have to spend all your time here. Okay? That's why this is not a yes, you have to spend all your time here. That's why this is a where are you spending the majority of your time? Kirk says mercy. Yeah. How are you spending your time? Are you measuring your moments and mastering your minutes? What are you doing? What are you doing? I had to, as I looked through this, I then had to go next level, right? I then had to go next level. And I asked myself the question, not just how am I spending my time, but when am I spending my time? I found personally that there are certain times of day where it's not productive for me to have meetings. It's not productive for me to have meetings in the morning, right? When I talk about meetings, I'm not necessarily talking about just any meeting. It's not productive for me to have meetings in the morning that are action-oriented, that are reviewing and evaluating types of meetings. And not that I couldn't have those meetings at that time of day and do well at them. I could, but here's what I recognized. Mornings, for me, are creative, strategic, and energetic. Mornings for me, I could have great meetings in the morning, but if I jammed my mornings with meetings, then I drown out the time for creative work. And that's my genius. That's when I'm able to think clearly and create content. So if I'm thinking about my mornings, what I tend to do is the best time for me, my meetings, for me to plan my meetings is late morning to mid-afternoon. And I call these my power zones. When are your power zones? Several years ago, as I was walking through this process, I did this rough graphic, right? And this is what I came up with. This is private stuff that I'm showing. This is I just kind of drew this out, right? So I had some times in for focus work. If you look at this, I had some time for brainstorming, for routine, for organizing, for communicating and developing, for delivery, as in training. And then I had some time for learning. And I was figuring out what was the best time of day for me to do these things. What was my power zone? What was my power zone? Right. And so that was my rough schedule. This is not something that was scientific, that I got from a book. This was me sitting down and figuring out, okay, in order for me to master my minutes, in order for me to maximize my day, when do I show up at my best for that particular activity? When do I show up at my best to be creative? When do I show up at my best as a speaker or to do training, to do delivery? When do I show up at my best for those? When do I show up at my best to lead or to be in strategic meetings and planning meetings? When do I show up at my best for that? And how do I organize or intentionally create a calendar that allows me to be at my best? Am I perfect at it? No. But awareness is what we're talking about. How do I measure my moments? In order to figure out when you're at your best, in order to figure out where you can be at your best or how you can be at your best, you've got to have assessment and evaluative times. And so how do I measure my moments so that I can master my minutes? Most of us tend to just give away our time. We create to-do lists and people interrupt us, and not just people. We allow distractions to take our time. And the more that you give away your time is the more that you lose yourself. The more that you give away your time to mindless scrolling, the more that you give away your time to emergencies, the more that you give away your time to other people's their urgencies instead of what's important in your space, the more that you give away your time to not or lack of planning, the more that you give away your time, the more that you lose yourself. Right? Sharon says, I love mindless scrolling. And there's a time for that. There can be an intentional time for that. But if you're doing it at a time when your power zone says, hey, this is my creative or strategic time, if you're doing it at a time where your power zone says, or your awareness says, this is a place for my genius zone. This is a place for me to execute my genius or to be operating in my genius, then you've lost yourself. I am not one of those people that believe, oh my gosh, you got to be productive and doing hard work all day. You need rest. You need relaxation. You need rejuvenation. I need time to recover. I need time to refresh. I need time to reset. Yes, Robert just got all the R words in place. I need that time. And sometimes that time is mindless scrolling. Right? Several years ago, I started this practice of having a personal retreat a couple of times a year. Going away for a full 24-hour period. I'd leave like Sunday afternoon, spend all day Monday, and then come back on Tuesday morning. And what did I schedule for that personal retreat time? Nothing. Whatever the heck I wanted. I could take my computer if I wanted. I could not do anything. I could call somebody on the phone. I could walk around. Whatever I wanted. That was what I did during my personal retreat time. Something that was just unagended. Right? Right? But that was intentional because you need that time. You need that time in order to come back refreshed and creative. But that is intentional time. That is time that is scheduled. That is time that is planned. That is time that's in the green space. Right? It's important, but it's not urgent. Right? And so what is it that you're doing, again, to measure your moments so that you can master your minutes? My question this week for you is, are you losing yourself? Are you measuring your moments, or are you mastering your minutes? Here's the deal. Every week we do this, we give some homework. So here's your homework for this week. What I'd like for you to do is just schedule 30 minutes on your calendar and write down everything you need to do this week. Write down every single thing that you can think of. You're going to miss a thing or two, whatever it is. Write down everything you think you need to do this week. And then create your own Eisenhower matrix. Urgent and important, urgent, not important, not important, urgent, not important, not urgent. Right? Create your own matrix. I'll put it up on the screen again so that those of you that are looking for this can see it. Right? Okay? Create your own matrix and then separate your tasks into that matrix. All right? So that's your homework. Write down everything you need to do this week, create your own matrix, and then separate your tasks into that matrix. I want to encourage you to live fully. In order to live fully, you've got to own your ability to choose each moment, or to choose in each moment of your life. It's so easy to let life sweep you away, right? But to truly be the unicorn that you were created to be, you've got to measure your moments and master your minutes. Join me this Wednesday at 1:30 for Story to Sales on LinkedIn Audio. We're talking about, what are we talking about? Making your prospect the protagonist. Yes. Yeah. You want to know when we're going live? Text live to 8679. Text live to 240-557-8679 and I'll send the link to you. All right. I want to end today with 2 quotes from the book 18 Minutes by Peter Bregman. And he says, our biggest enemy is not lack of time, but lack of focus. The second quote that he says, it says, say no more often. It's better to say no and disappoint someone temporarily than to say yes and disappoint yourself long term. These quotes are from 18 Minutes. Find Your Focus, Master Distraction, and Get the Right Things Done by Peter Bregman. Oh yeah, that book is in the caption at the top. Click on that and get yourself a read. Hey y'all, it is Monday. And, oh yes, we want to shift your mindset to a place of growth. It doesn't just start and stop on Monday. We want to encourage you to take your Monday mindset into tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. Be curious. Make a choice. Move. Start a movement. Be a movement. Join me next week, Monday at 8 a.m. on the Monday Mindset Movement on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. Hey, and if you're on Twitch, we be there too. Oh, yes. Until then, be amazing, my friends.